So good afternoon students. Today I am going to talk about the topic blood coagulation or clotting of blood. So if we cut our fingers or hurt ourselves, or suppose accidentally an injury or accident occur, then what will happen? It starts bleeding. But we must notice one thing, that after a few minutes the bleeding is automatically stopped, and in the site of injury there is a reddish brown color scum may appear, or it becomes a jelly like substances that may present on the site of injury. Okay, actually the reddish brown in color scum which is produced at the site of injury after a few minutes of the accident, this is called the coagulum or the blood clot. Why it occurs? Actually, if the bleeding does not stop, what will happen? There is an excessive loss of blood from our body. So this is the mechanism which prevent the excessive blood loss from our body, and this mechanism is called blood coagulation or the mechanism for blood clotting. So now we have to know about the steps that are involved in the mechanism. It's not a simple process. So many factors, so many enzymes are involved in the blood coagulation mechanism, and also among the formed elements, platelets are mainly involved in blood coagulation, and in generally the blood start clotting within 2 to 8 minutes of minimum 2 minutes, or maximum time is about 8 minutes. So now just we have to go through the steps that are involved in the mechanism. So let's start and follow my notes. Okay. Suppose this is the site of injury. It means that in the particular site of our body where the accident or the wound occur. So at this site of injury, what will happen? The blood vessels become ruptured, and if the blood vessels ruptured, it starts bleeding, means blood releases from the site. At this site or at this moment, what will happen? The platelets, yes, among the formed elements, platelets or the thrombocytes, it becomes activated. Okay, when at the site of injury bleeding occurs, it means when the blood vessels get ruptured, at that moment the platelets that are present on the blood, it becomes activated, and what it will do, it secretes thrombokinase or thromboplastin from, and these thrombokinase or thromboplastin reach the site of injury. Yes, it is secreted from platelets. This thrombokinase or thromboplastin, these are secreted from the activated platelets, and then from platelets they reach to the site of injury. Okay. Now this thrombokinase or thromboplastin, what they do, they start the formation of prothrombinase. It's an important enzyme which is present in the blood. Yes, this thrombokinase or thromboplastin now initiates the formation of a complex or enzyme which is present in the blood, prothrombinase, and this prothrombinase is very important for the blood coagulation because it starts the blood coagulation process or blood coagulation mechanism. Okay, so prothrombinase formed. Now what prothrombinase do? The prothrombinase transfer or change the prothrombin into thrombin. Prothrombin is also present in the blood. Actually, prothrombin is inactive in blood. It gets activated through prothrombinase because prothrombinase convert this prothrombin into thrombin. Prothrombin is in inactive form, whereas thrombin is present in blood in active form. So what is the function of prothrombinase? Prothrombinase change prothrombin into thrombin, active form, and the process happen more fastly in the presence of calcium ion. So calcium ion is an important factor which is required for the blood coagulation mechanism. Now one thing, prothrombin is inactive whereas thrombin is active. And why prothrombin is present in the blood in inactive form? Because it is inactivated by antithrombin, okay, which is soluble in blood. This antithrombin keep the prothrombin inactive. But when prothrombinase is formed in the blood and in the presence of calcium ion, it activates prothrombin into thrombin, and but thrombin is insoluble in blood. So now thrombin is ultimately prepared. Now this active thrombin, what they do, they convert the fibrinogen protein into fibrin protein. In the previous class, we have already know that, see in my previous notes, there is a protein, fibrinogen protein, it's an inactive protein, okay. So now this fibrinogen protein, which is inactive, become activated and changed into fibrin. So who convert fibrinogen into fibrin? This thrombin. This thrombin converts this fibrinogen, which is inactive, in fibrin. And in the presence of vitamin K. So vitamin K is again another important factor for the blood coagulation. This fibrin is in active form and it's again insoluble in blood. And fibrinogen is remain inactive in the blood. Why? Because they are inactivated by a chemical which is called heparin. So thrombin destroy the heparin and ultimately activate the fibrinogen into fibrin. Because thrombin have to activate fibrinogen by destroying heparin, because for the presence of heparin, fibrinogen is inactive. That's why first this thrombin destroy the heparin and make or keep the fibrinogen active, and the active form of fibrinogen means the fibrin. So fibrinogen is ultimately converted into fibrin, okay. So this fibrin means forms the fiber which enmases the platelets, means it make a thread-like structure at the site of injury, and in these threads the blood cells plasma become trapped and ultimately form a clot or coagulum. Fibrin forms fibers such an net-like structure or net-like appearances in the site of injury, and for that the blood cells and the plasma get trapped in it and ultimately a clot is formed, okay. After a few minutes the clot is dries and it forms the reddish brown color scum, okay. After this is called the coagulum or the clot. So ultimately the blood coagulation process is completed. It has been found that blood coagulation mechanism or the mechanism for blood clotting occurs in the presence of vitamin K and calcium ion. So these are the two most important factors that are required for the blood coagulation or the blood clotting mechanism. But it's not a simple process. It occurs in a step by step, and different kind of enzymes are involved in it. So once again I summarize it. From the site of from the site of injury, bleeding starts or bleeding occurs. At that time platelets become activated, and from the platelets thrombokinase or thromboplastin starts secreting and they reach the site of injury, okay. Then what they do, they initiate or start forming prothrombinase in the blood, okay. Prothrombinase, what they do, this prothrombinase convert the inactive prothrombin into active thrombin, and for this process calcium ion is also required. In the blood the prothrombin become inactive due to the presence of antithrombin, okay. Now this active thrombin, it convert the inactive protein fibrinogen into active fibrin, and again the conversion occurs in the presence of vitamin K, okay. And ultimately fibrin forms the fiber or net-like appearances at the site of injury and trap the blood cells plasma, and clot is formed or coagulum is formed. It becomes dry and form the scum. So this is the ultimately blood coagulation mechanism. So many enzymes and so many factors are involved in it. So you have to go through these steps and try to learn it. Okay.